O'Brien.
Good afternoon, folks. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, final hour of the trading day, and we got a market today following NVIDIA earnings. And yeah, we got some action to the downside, but boy, this market's clawing it back. We're only down by 36 points right now, and you look at this acceleration, we double bounce off those lows, and since then, we're a solid 40 points off of the lows right now, just above where we were at 11:30, and it was quite a meltdown in the early session. As I mentioned at the top of the hour there, exactly 100 points. Exactly. 69.70 down to 68.70, and both with 0.75 in there. 100 points, but we are just above where we were. And that price tag was 69.20. The highs at 11.30. You double tap that bottom. NASDAQ 100. Not quite the same bounce. We're right back to where we were at 11.30 as well, but you're still off 1.25%, off 311 points right now. Dow barely in the green by 48 points. They were selling everything this morning out of the gate. And the Russell leading the way. We're actually above where we were this open on the Russell. That positive by 11 points. We take a look at the volume on the indices. And yeah, we'll have some volume coming back in these indices today. We got 1 hour left to go in trading. Imagine you'll get some volume. And we'll get some volume on the close, but nothing too resounding for NVIDIA day. Take a look at the S&Ps, right? You're talking about much more than the last couple days. We've had some light volume on this bounce, but still only 1.3 million contracts right now in the S&Ps. You know, you got big days out here at 1.7, 1.7, 1.8, 1.92. NASDAQ 100 right now, 519,000. You know, yesterday that bounced. Not much volume. Not what you want to see in terms of the acceleration yesterday. I mean, check out the NASDAQ 100 volume yesterday. That's one of the lightest volume days we've had going back all year. Might be the. Yeah, 409,000 contracts yesterday in the NASDAQ 100. I think that's the lightest day in futures all year. And from there, we're trading low with volume right now. We jump over to yields. The 30-year, under 6%. Yeah, we get the 10-year right now, positive by 8 ticks, 4.02. The yield on the 10-year. You jump over the dollar right now. Little volatility as well. Almost hitting that 98 price area yet again, 97.78. Gold down by 14 bucks, 52.11 though. Holding up well, down by 14 bucks on the session in terms of where we were when that session technically closes yesterday afternoon. But well off the lows, 60 bucks off those lows from this morning in gold. You jump over to silver, 89.05, down by $2.58. Yeah, some of those metals were catching a bid today. I was checking out Hecla, up $1, up 4.6%, 24.38. Harmony shares up 4% as well. AEM up 2.2%. Some of these gold equities. Wheat and precious metals up by 2%. Jump over Barrick up by 1.1. But yeah, some of those equities. Jump over the XAU right now. Up by 2.1%. Look at these metal equities catching a bid right now. GDX up $1.89, coming right up to the highs we had yesterday as well. All right, let's jump over to NVIDIA. You talk about a meltdown, man. I say it often. 25 billion shares outstanding, and this thing falls from about 199 pre-market. We're 15 bucks off that price level, folks. That's $375 billion in market cap from where we were at 7:30 in the morning. I'm not cherry picking the high here. This thing was chopping around 198 for an extended period of time. And on the open, we found out where supply equals demand, and folks, they were good numbers. Okay, they were good numbers. Now, the numbers that they came out with, 73% surge in fourth quarter revenue. Yeah, here we go. The forecast for the current quarter that we're in is going to be 78 billion. The average prediction was 72.8 billion. Some of the analysts had that number at 80 billion. That's pretty good. 78 billion. The average analyst prediction was that they were going to forecast for the fiscal first quarter 72.8. They come in at 78. Okay. The quarter they just reported was the one they had 73% gain in to 68.1 billion. Profit $1.62 a share, which was well above the $1.53. One of the biggest numbers they were focusing on was gross margin. More than $3 out of every $4 is gross margin that they are taking in. remarkable. Make sure you're charging enough for your products if you're ever selling a product, folks. Okay, because it is amazing when you talk free cash flow in this company. They got mammoth free cash flows. The data center, 62.3 billion, the data center unit. The market was looking for 60.4. The areas they disappointed in don't even matter. Gaming used to be their entire business. They did disappoint. Took in 3.73 billion versus 4, and automotive related sales, I said this morning, my goodness, right? They missed by a big amount. 604 million versus 643, but automotive related sales. Either way, doesn't matter. Good numbers, right? They beat on the quarter they reported. They beat on the quarter coming up. Their margins are over 75%, and they sell it right out of the gate. We're at the top of this consolidation, and it looks like the next stop is probably 170. Okay, look at this volume we're going to get today. You're rejecting this area. We've had this highlighted for some time on this chart, and you are rejecting that area. And yeah, until you prove otherwise, looks like we're heading down to the bottom of that range. Now, you got this area out here from the week ago or so. You had a low out there, 179.18. Zoom in on it. February 17th. But realistically, with this type of action, this type of volume, 171 is the next stop. We might get a little pullback in these tech stocks if NVIDIA is going to rip to the lower part of that range. Now, you look at the heat map in that NASDAQ. Yeah. This top left quadrant, the chips, the information technology sector, that have been plowing this market higher. Not today. Check it out. NVIDIA down by 5.4%. Micron off by 3.4%. AMD off 3.5%. Broadcom off almost 5%. AMET off 5.5%. Lam off 5.6%. And ASML off 4.7%. Now, some of the software stocks are getting a lift today. And one of the things that the CEO of NVIDIA said was that he thinks the market's gotten it wrong on these software equities. When you talk about agents, right, agentic AI, they're going to be so productive using these software suites that it might actually accelerate things, to put it lightly. So you jump over to AppLovin, catching a bid. This thing's gotten pummeled. Now, volume-wise, nothing too encouraging, folks. This thing over the last 3 days has jumped from 390, shoot, look at this, 366 to 441. We'll see if we can do some volume, but very hard to get above. Looks like we're going to break above there on lighter volume today. Salesforce out with their numbers. They got a $50 billion buyback, and the market likes that after reacting negatively last night. Yeah. Software, one of the areas investors are going to today when we got a sell-off in NVIDIA and the IT equities. All right, folks, markets. S&P's off 41. Coming right back.